You're listening to the New World to Go podcast with your hosts, Redbyrd and BDLG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of New World to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. Bordy.
Yeah. What's up, dude?
It's another week of New World content, another week of some interesting backstories and lore of characters in New World. That's actually pretty exclusive to this week, I guess, other than Bark Meaties. But yeah, dude, we got a lot of cool, interesting lore about Princess Zhou, or I believe that's how you say it, to discuss, and I'm excited about that, Bordy. I'm excited to get your take on it, about the story and what that might mean for the future of New World as well. But first, Bordy, guys, we want you in. I don't know. I said Bordy and then guys. Guys, we want you in the Discord. Come join the Discord. We had a lot of people join the Discord this week after our call last episode, I believe, is when we made the call. So a lot of people were building a community, obviously around New World and other games like New World. We're excited about the launch of New World, and we hope you guys are too. Come join the Discord, and you can communicate with us what you want to see on episodes. We try to we do a lot of mingling, I think, in our Discord. A lot of cool conversations. We actually have a Valheim server up in there right now that a ton of us are having fun in. But Bordy, we want them to come and hang out with us, right, Bordy?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Not just for New World, just for the community as a whole. We are heavily New World centric, obviously, but we just want to get to know you guys, hang out with you guys. We talk about all kinds of stuff in there, so don't be shy. Come join.
Yes, come join. Talk. We again, if there's something you want to see on an episode of New World to Go, then you can let us know in there, and then we'll be happy to cover that for you. We're inching towards the finish line here, Bordy. Beta is in 4 months.
Yeah, man.
So it's gonna go quickly, I have a feeling.
It sounds, when you say 4 months, it sounds like a long time, but dude, we're already in March, and it feels like 2021 just began. You know what I mean? We're already halfway through March.
It's really crazy, dude. We're about a quarter of a way through March.
Yeah.
And it's
a quarter. It's March 14th.
I meant through 2021.
Oh,
my bad. Did I say March?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm confused.
Hey man, we're trapped on Aeternum. No one knows what time of year it is. But anyways, it's gonna be here before we know it. So again, we're building a company. We're building a Discord, obviously, to share New World information, share some fun in New World. We're excited. Dude, it's gonna be so fun having a game to play with everybody. I'm just excited about that. Even if they're not in our company, it's just gonna be fun to play New World with everybody.
Without a doubt, dude.
I can't wait for that time. Also, guys, if you're listening to this in podcast form, we do have a YouTube channel. You should jump over there, sub if you are a YouTube viewer. We download this podcast on all podcasting platforms. Just a quick housekeeping thing. Maybe you've had difficulty finding this episode. If you're a podcast listener, we did change podcast host. It shouldn't, in long term, it shouldn't affect anything, obviously. But short term, we may have some difficulty with distribution of episodes on the different obscure podcasting platforms. Most people, I think, that listen to podcasting platforms use iTunes or their podcasting application, and then Android users use what? 40.
I don't know, man. I'm not an Android user. I have no idea. Absolutely not. But I
Google Podcasts, Spotify.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
But most people aren't going to see any difference at all. But there may be a small percentage. True.
Right. Well, I remember when we I think it was our Elder Scrolls Online podcast. There was like one that when we transitioned to New World, they're like, you guys aren't on this one, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, we did get a couple of those. We got a couple of those. Okay. Hopefully this will be a smooth transition, though. We won't have any issues. But if there are, just know that they're going to get worked out very soon. We're in the process of fixing all of that, and we will address them as they come up.
Shouldn't be too much latency. Hey, join the Discord. Let us know. Are we not on your podcasting platform anymore? And we'll get you over there for sure. Hey, man, look at that. Anyways, that I was a good transition until I did that. Until I said, "Look at that," and then it became bad. All right. So let's just jump right in here, dude. Our main topic of the week is Princess Zhou and the lore that they released on the official Twitter account. Dude, I am absolutely obsessed with Ebonscale Reach, with the Eastern influence of this zone, and the story of Princess Zhou, and how I said it differently again than Zhou, and how she ties into the zone, man. I think they're doing an excellent job here, Bordy, in telling the story with the images and the pieces of lore that they brought out, dude. What were your initial thoughts on this approach of sharing the story of Aeternum?
I loved it, man. I thought the story was awesome. Whoever wrote this story, kudos to them. This is one of, maybe one of my favorite pieces of lore so far that we've been able to read. It's very well written. It tells the story, I guess, basically from a player's perspective, and it's just a very fun story to read through. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy the direction that Princess Zhou, I don't know, Princess Z. I enjoy the direction that it's headed. I thoroughly enjoyed reading through this article and this piece of lore. I thought it was very well written. It gave us a lot of information on who she is, where she's coming from, why she's in Aeternum, what she's trying to do. It gave us a lot of information, and it kind of leaves you hanging at the end, wanting more, wanting to know what's going to happen. What is she doing? And I liked it, man. I thought it was great. I thought it was a very, very great article. Very good story, man. Good piece of lore.
Yeah, so, they did this throughout the week. They teased the story and kind of introduced, bits and pieces of the lore. But they did make a big post, in case you missed it, over on their official website. You can check that out at New World Fans or their website. Just hop over to New World Fans, and then you can click on the link on New World Fans and go over there. It'll be fun. I promise. But yeah, so basically... the Princess Zhou was an empress I'm going to sum this up for you guys as well. We don't want to completely read the whole document. It is a lengthy document, which I thought, again, I enjoyed the read. It was cool. And again, I like to just know why I'm in Aeternum, what's happening. Why are all these different people? Why did they come to Aeternum? What are they looking for? What are they seeking to find? And we got that story from Princess Zhou. So basically, she came or was part of an empire over or a dynasty over in China, and the Zhou dynasty to be specific. And so she was kind of exiled because she got passed over for her brother to be the ruler. So she came to Aeternum to seek power and vengeance, and while here she discovered the corruption. So, Bordy, this is, you mentioned this on the last episode when we discussed the queens of Aeternum and Isabella being, something that we're, I guess, not particularly informed on at this point, but she is corrupted or seems to be, her power seems to derive from corruption. So here's another person or another villain over on Aeternum that is part of the corrupted force.
Yeah, I found that part of the article very interesting, man, and it almost made me think that maybe she had a run-in with Isabella, and that's how she gained her power. And I can't find the specific spot in the article. I'll find it here in a minute and I'll quote it. I don't know where it is, but it was kind of an interesting thing. It's like she found the corruption, but it almost made me think that's how she found it was through Isabella. And sorry, I'm trying to read through this and find it, but I can't find it at the moment. But anyway, go ahead, Red. Let me try to find this thing, man.
Yeah, no problem. And that's an interesting point too, because one of the things that I want to point out about the lore is that her plans are to return back to China and bring a corrupted armada back with her. I thought that was a really I just like the idea of, number one, her coming to Aeternum to gain some sort of power, and after finding it through the corrupted, now her ultimate goal is to return back and take what's rightfully hers. Now, this opens up a lot of different things with the lore. Obviously, I think she's going to be someone potentially we interact with. They actually put out an in-game picture of her. I'll show that to all our YouTube viewers on the screen now. But, dude, she looks epic, man. She looks crazy. So I think something, this is a very, and we mentioned this a little bit on one of our, about the Bargmedes series and how the final boss of the dungeon was just another one of the, they look like big lost brutes, basically. They seem to be part of the lost genre or type of enemies. And they're everywhere, basically, world bosses and in the first well, dang it, what is the name of the exhibition?
Amrine?
Yes, yeah, so the Amrine, what is it? No, the full name. Yeah, there we go. I kept tripping over it. I was like, yes. So we had mentioned that model and a lot of those models in there are kind of reused from parts and pieces of Aeternum, but Princess Zhou, that is not the case at all. She looks completely unique. A lot of detail in her armor, obviously Eastern oriented, and dude, she has some sort of sorcery or witch powers that looks pretty amazing.
Yeah, it does look really cool. She has the red glowy orb in her hands there. It looks crazy. So I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit here, Red. I'm gonna read this little excerpt. Is that all right? Let's go through this. What I was talking about earlier. So I'm gonna read just a couple of quick paragraphs for context, and then I'll tell you why I feel like maybe she got her power. I feel like she had a run-in with Isabella or obviously someone, because it makes that very clear here in this passage. So it says Bao shook his head wistfully, his cheerfulness beginning to falter. I was on the voyage. The plan was always to return back to China with the powers of eternal life, if the rumors were true, and to use them to take back the throne. Unfortunately, as what happens with all ships that sail too close to Aeternum, our fleet crashed the island storms, and we were washed upon the shores of Ebonscale Reach. All right, so here's where it gets interesting to me. All right, so then it says, but that wasn't enough to deter Tai Ying. So Tai Ying is Empress Zhao's first name, Tai Ying Zhou, or Zhou, or however you say it. She made her way inland to establish her claim on the land that met. Okay, hold on. Let me read this again. She made her way inland to establish her claim on the land and met with an agent of corruption who promised her power, eternal life, and the revenge she was seeking. And then it says, empowered with corruption, she converted most of her loyal followers into what serve her as her corrupted dynasty ranks. The rest of us fled, Bao said, his eyes full of dull, burning anger. He continued to polish the glass vigorously despite, okay, and then it goes on with the rest of the story. So that's the interesting sentence, though. She made her way inland to establish her claim on the land and met with an agent of corruption who promised her the power, eternal life, and the revenge she was seeking. So that's why I think maybe Isabella is the agent of corruption on Aeternum, and she's the one that met with Empress Zhou and gave her or promised her the power of eternal life and the revenge she was seeking. So maybe in return for that, Zhou, basically like selling your soul to the devil or something along those lines. Maybe she may cut a deal with her or something. I don't know, man. That was very interesting to me. And if it wasn't Isabella, then who was it? Who's the agent of corruption that promised her all of these crazy things? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man.
That brings up a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
Joe.
I think that we're both butchering the poo-poo out of the name. This is the internet too, though. I think it's pronounced Joe. I don't know what the name is. I think we're both completely wrong.
No, I don't think it's Joe. I think I've seen that comment on our YouTube channel, and I think they're referring to Zhou, right? Like the way you pronounce it is similar to Joe, so it'd be Zhou and not Zhao or Zhu. Okay. It would be Zhou.
Well,
but I'm not real sure.
Yeah. Nonetheless, Princess Z, I think, is a great way until we can officially pronounce it correctly. But maybe. So
anyways, the Zhou dynasty is actually a real thing. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, I only know that because of video games, and I'm maybe slightly embarrassed to say that. But I used to play a lot of Dynasty Warriors, and all the dynasties. It's all about like the Chinese dynasties, like at war and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so I just looked it up and looked up the pronunciation, and it is Joe. It's just Joe.
Yeah.
Jow is what Google says. So whenever you type in ZHOU pronunciation, it says Joe.
Yeah.
So I guess you're right.
Joe Dynasty.
Joe, Joe, Jow, Joe. Wow, dude. Okay.
We're very American people.
Yeah. Okay. Joe.
But now we're corrected, and we stand corrected until someone else tells us, no, that's wrong too, you idiots. But right now, we'll just say Princess Z. So, it's interesting you mentioned that Isabella has some sort of influence in her and getting her vengeance. Maybe, dude, Isabella's intentions are to, now that, maybe she is the devil or something along the lines of that within the corrupted, presence on Aeternum. Maybe her intention is to escape Aeternum, and because in the original trailer, they, you the explorer, and you meet up with that shaman or priest or whatever that person is initially in the game. Actually it's you and the, what is the guy's name where you fight him right at the beginning of the game in the trailer, or not the
Captain
trailer.
Thorpe.
Yeah, Captain Thorpe. You meet up and he mentions that there's a threat that could destroy the entire world if not dealt with. Maybe that's her intention, dude, is to use Princess Z to escape Aeternum and start taking over the world.
Maybe so, man. Maybe so. Another part of this says the stories we've been circulating of corrupted armada are true. Zhou Taiying seeks to build a new fleet to return to China and reclaim not only her throne there, but to also stake claim over the world. So maybe her and Isabella are somehow working together. Maybe they cut a deal that she'll get her power. So maybe it's one of these situations where Empress Z goes back to China and she retakes her claim over China, but then Isabella in exchange gets the entire world, because maybe she makes Empress Z go fight for her, take over everything, but then ultimately Isabella's the true ruler, and Empress Z is,
So
who knows, man? That's probably far-reaching, but who knows, man?
Well, here's the thing, dude, and this is game. We can have this kind of hopefully have a little bit of speculation within the game of New World. Do we think that, given they're mentioning armadas now and fleets of ships that they're preparing to sail back, do we think this is the introduction of some sort of naval or aquatic content in New World?
I would imagine that we'll get that at some point. It's hard for me to think that we would never get something like that in the game, because
we can't swim, dude. So,
well, that's true. that is a very valid point that I didn't think. That's a very valid point I didn't think about. But it's hard for me to imagine that we don't get something like that later on down the road. I highly doubt something like that comes on release. I think that'd be like a 2 or 3 year, way on down the road with some very large expansion or something. But that potentially is something I could see ships being a thing. I think it makes sense for them to be a thing, because everyone's sailed to Aeternum on a ship. It's an island out there by itself. I don't know. I don't know how they would tie that in, but I could see it totally being a thing. Some naval combat would be cool. Sailing around being a pirate would be dope. I think that's a possibility for a good ways into the future. I don't think anywhere in the immediate future it's going to happen, though.
Now, with that, do we think we're going to see other parts of the world other than Aeternum in New World eventually? That, this kind of opens up. Maybe we end up thwarting Empress Zhou's plans to get off, of Aeternum. That's obviously potentially the end of whatever the expedition or whatever we encounter her in, potentially the first raid in New World. Who knows? But do you think we'll ever escape Aeternum, or do you think that that's in any plans within the game of New World?
That's a tough one, man. My gut reaction to that is no. I don't think we'll ever escape. I think the possibility of having another island to sell to would be something that's feasible. I don't think we'll escape Aeternum and ever go back to like the mainland of the world. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to escape Aeternum and sell into Europe or to the United States or something like that. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think the bigger possibilities would be some sort of portal, like we've talked about previously on a video and maybe another episode of New World to Go above the Shattered Mountain. I think that's a possibility to go. Some kind of time travel or something like that, I think could tie in. I also think that the possibility of having another island out there, you know, next to Aeternum somewhere that we would get on a boat and sail to is probably maybe likely. I just don't ever see us going back to like the actual world. But who knows, man?
I agree with you. For the record, I think that it's more likely that Aeternum is this place that's maybe unnatural, or you know what I mean, or supernatural.
Yeah.
And we'll just be stuck here, kind of like a Bermuda Triangle situation that we'll just, Aeternum will continue to develop around us, but we will be stuck in this fantasy world. I think would be more likely the case. Dude, the Eastern influence in all of this, the stories in this zone, dude, also bring up an interesting topic, dude. Are we gonna get some sort of Eastern influenced armor? Are we gonna get some samurai looking stuff? And
I sure hope so, man. A katana in the game potentially.
Hey, dude, yeah, that would be cool. I'm excited for the potentials that Ebonscale Reach and Empress Zhou bring to the table, dude. Because, I just think if they're going to add content to New World in the future, stuff like this is the most likely bet, right? There's going to be a new in-game zone. They're going to continue to add to potentially the level cap and stuff like that. They're probably going to, use different, historical influences to do so, I would guess. So, I'm okay with that. We get a Viking piece of Aeternum and where the Vikings landed, we get, obviously we already have a lot of conquistador and colonist influence stuff. But dude, I'm okay with, or maybe some sort of tribal, like African tribal part of the world with, all the African influence. I think that would be dope, dude, and I'm here for it. I like that what they're trying to do with Ebonscale Reach.
Yeah, possibilities are endless, man, no doubt, and it's going to be fun to see how this plays out over the course of the lifespan of the game. Really, one of the things I was kind of disappointed in is that they confirmed we're not getting dragons. That was kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Because looking at these pictures, we kind of read into this on the last video we bumped out.
There are
about
no plans. That's that's how you know it's dev talk. We don't think it's going to happen soon, but it may happen. We have no current plans for dragons.
Yeah, probably down the road, I would hope. It just makes sense that like she would turn into a dragon or something based on her story and everything that's happening. But that's not the case right now. But maybe later on down the road, man. I think dragons in Aeternum would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like you had mentioned, I think their possibilities in what they can do in this game are a lot less limited than people think with the alternative historical setting. I think they can do a lot of interesting different things, not only just with like world culture, but they have entered the territory of a supernatural world as well. So Dark Souls is another big influence of this game, and they can really take us, like you said, through a portal to a different dimension, some sort of seven layers of hell type of situation. Dude, they can do whatever they want with the corruption and Azoth, and I'm excited to see that because obviously we don't know a lot about Azoth at this point either. And where that derives from, and all we know is, we have those. There's that place in Brightwood, lower where the Azoth tree is, and all of those things. So maybe we be getting some more lore on Azoth as well in the future. So they could even do some sort of content update telling the story of where that came from. So I'm excited, dude, as they continue to flesh this out and these stories of the characters on Aeternum and kind of making everybody interested and informed on what their prerogative is or what, their intentions are. It's going to be cool to see how that Isabella plays out as well. So, Boy, do you have anything else to say about Princess Zhou and the Ebonscale Reach?
I don't, man. Other than I'm getting very excited about the game. These types of drops are really fun to look at and read. I hope that we get more information about the actual gameplay soon. It's been a little bit since we've had some actual patch notes released to us. And so I'm looking forward to those. I'm sure we'll get something. I hope we get something soon. But I also like this stuff as well because it's going to be interesting to see where the lore goes. I think New World has a very unique opportunity here to make something amazing lore-wise and gameplay-wise. And they have a very good opportunity to just knock this thing out of the park and be a very successful MMO. And it looks like they're headed in that direction. This was very well done, and I hope to see more of this type of stuff in the future too. And I'm really excited to see how all this ties together. How the whole story, the whole big picture of everything ties together. It's getting close, dude. And I'm getting very excited. I really am. I'm ready to get in there.
Love story-oriented content, lore.
Absolutely.
And they are doing themselves a big service to make some of this public before launch, getting people interested in the the story of the New World. So I hope they continue to do this, as well as continue to provide us with alpha patch notes, because you're right, dude.
Yeah.
We're due for some, actually a month overdue at this point specifically. So hopefully, this week we'll get some of that information as well.
Which would be amazing.
All right, dude. Well, why don't you take it away with the company of the week?
Yeah, man. Company of the week, the Federation, Region NA, Faction Undecided, Language English, Focus PVX, Size 51+. They are currently recruiting. The Federation is a global gaming community based on no-life survival MMOs like Albion Online, Ark, Atlas, and various others. It says they're a group of chill, like-minded adults who try not to take themselves too seriously while still pushing to the in-game envelope to see what they can accomplish as a crew. Seems like a very chill group that also tries to accomplish a lot in the game. If you're interested in joining the Federation, make sure to click the links below.
All right, dude. Well, we appreciate you guys continue to create companies and company listings for New World fans. And dude, it's going to be cool to see how the company influences and territory controlled are different from server to server. Dude, it's going to be exciting to see some of these guilds or companies we've had the opportunity to talk about on the podcast at war and in action in the game. It's going to be pretty cool to see, man. So again, thank you guys for creating your company account on Studio Loot and specifically New World fans. We appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you're interested in our socials, we are on Twitter at Studio Loot, as well as on YouTube at Studio Loot. We produce tons of content, obviously for New World and other games. And we're just thankful to have you guys. You guys are, dude, we have some OGs here with us on the podcast. We're extremely grateful for you guys have stuck it out through, I think, 3 delays at this point. And we are very appreciative of you for continuing to listen to us on a weekly basis. And man, we're just extremely excited about the game. I can't say that enough, man. 4 months until we get to play some closed beta action.
So close, dude.
Dude, so close. I kind of want to sleep until then, even though it's physically impossible. And we would be in trouble too, because the website, I think Taken would be very unhappy with us if we.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, then, man. We can't sleep. Yeah, we've got plenty to do.
Yeah, but it'll go by before we know it, dude. It'll be here. But again, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And we will see you on another episode of New World to Go.